I'm Anna Gillum,
I'm Mary Gillum.
and we're Milton's big great granddaughters, and we belong to Harvey Fouts.
Yep.
We're Harvey Fouts' granddaughters.
I'm Ellie Fouts, and I'm on the Milton side as well. I'm Bill Fouts' granddaughter.
I'm Sarah Booker, and I'm Milton.
Yes.
Yeah. And I am Katie Booker's granddaughter.
Okay, so I think my favorite memories of syrup making growing up, I don't really remember life without syrup making. I think ever since I was little, I remember it, and my favorite memories, this pile of cane behind us that gets ground up. It used to not be on a trailer, and so we would climb up it and throw each other off and wrestle. And
Yeah, it was big.
it used to be really big, and we'd throw each other off, and we called it King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Yes.
And whoever was on the top was King of the Hill.
And it was always Luke or Sam, so.
Yes.
Yeah, the
They would
boys
say
always
that.
won. It was a little unfair.
Yes.
And playing in the creek and catching minnows and
Making mud
Making
pies.
mud
Making mud pies and
mud
like
pies.
drinks. Me and
Yeah,
Sarah made
yeah, we
like
made
frappuccinos or
cappuccinos.
something. I don't even know. Yep.
Yes, y'all did.
All the cuts too. Like I remember going to wash my hands before like we ate, and my hands would burn so bad from like jumping off that. And
Yeah.
my favorite part was getting to the top and getting to slide down.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun.
I didn't like getting pushed off, but like I could slide
But
down.
there's always like those little like bugs, like the little hornets.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Bees.
Usually Sam would throw me off before I got to the top.
Yeah.
I don't think we made it to the top very often.
Or
We'd
you
wait.
do.
I remember waiting till the boys had found something else to do, and then we
Yeah.
could climb
Yeah.
to the top.
Yep. Tried to avoid them. Like
Yeah.
go the opposite way of them.
Yeah.
'Cause they bullied us, we'll say that.
They did.
But at least we can talk about them when they're not here. So yep. Me and Sarah fought a lot in the creek.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
With
Oh,
the
yeah.
big buckets
big
pouring
buckets, the
water on each
gallon
other's
buckets,
I
heads.
remember
throwing each
that.
other's
Yep. So
Yeah.
that our stories.
Oh, and sopping. That was always
Oh,
one of my favorite
eating.
things.
Yes.
Once when they were straining it into the jars,
The
sopping the
line.
syrup. Yeah, don't pass the line.
Don't pass the line.
No.
No.
Always threatened to get paddled if you
Yeah.
pass the line.
But then one of them always had a spoon, and I thought that was cheating because he got more than we all could.
Yeah.
Mhm.
George would
Yeah.
always
Yep,
have a
George always
spoon.
gets a spoon.
George, let go of your spoon.
Yep.
It's cheating.
He still will get a spoon.
He still gets a
Yep.
spoon.
Smart though. He
It
was
is
just
smart.
he was really just smarter than us.
Yeah, really. Yep. So,
Good memories.
Well, this is the Fouts Family Farm. It was passed down from the Rickmans all the way back to 1836 when the Rickman family moved into this valley. And we know that syrup has been made at this place for well over 100 years, with the exception of 2 years. In 1943, when my great-grandfather Roland Rickman passed away, they did not make syrup that year. That was 1943. One other year was when we had a drought and the cane didn't grow out and we couldn't make syrup. So as far as we know, for well over 100 years, syrup has been made at this location on this farm. I have been here now for 85 years, and I can remember back when we made the syrup. The old mill furnace was across the road, and we had a vertical roller mill that was pulled with a horse. And then later on, as time went on, my dad got a power mill that we could pull with a tractor, and so that changed it. And then in 1984, Dad and Uncle Marshall bought a horizontal roller mill, which we still use today. And so in 1984, we moved the mill across the road and moved the furnace down below the mill so we could gravity run the juice down to the mill, to the furnace rather. So that's a sort of a brief history of the syrup making here. Harvey, you talk a little while.
Well, I wanted to tell a little bit about the syrup making process. The making of syrup is a combination of will and knowledge. You start in the spring with seeding the crop in single row. And our field is about 12, 13 rows wide and about 150 feet long. And it'll germinate in just a few days, and then you have to go through and thin it. It's usually too many seeds per foot. And we thin it, get the weeds out of it, fertilize it, and it'll grow. Even in dry weather, it grows pretty good. And along in September, the seed head matures, and we strip the leaves off and cut the head off and do that in the field. And then we cut the stalk down and load it on a trailer and bring it over here to the syrup mill. And then with the syrup mill, we grind it, crush the stalk, I should say. That squeezes the juice out of it. And the juice goes down into a boiler, a wood-fired boiler goes under it. And we keep the wood going for about four and a half to 5 hours. And boil all the water off. If you start with 15% sugar, you'll end up with we end up with 15 gallons of syrup because our boiler holds about 100 gallons of juice. And it comes off pretty hot, 222 degrees, 224 is all right. And it's fairly thick. And we pour it into jars while it's hot. And then we divide it up among our family, our friends, and enjoy the process. The process is important as is the product. We have a lot of family and friends come to the farm, and they enjoy it. We enjoy it. It's kind of keeping the old part of the Appalachian tradition of going. And I remember some of what Bill was talking about, where the old mill was at. And I have good memories of Uncle Marshall and Uncle Merritt, Aunt Doris. All of Daddy's brothers and sisters were a part of our annual gathering, syrup making. And so family is what it's about. It's all about the process of making syrup is making family. We enjoy it.
Syrup making is a very intense labor, and it's all hand labor. And in our situation, there's 4 families involved. Mine and Harvey's father, Milton, Uncle Marshall, Aunt Doris, and Uncle Merritt. Those 4 brothers and sisters and their expanded family are the ones that are involved in it. And so it's a huge family undertaking to produce the cane and process the syrup. Now as far as we know, we're the only family left in Macon County that still makes syrup. In the old days, almost everybody grew cane and made syrup because syrup was a very important part of the family food. Syrup was on the table 3 meals a day, and you would wind up your meal with a some syrup and butter and hot biscuit. And so it was a very important thing. And I can remember when we ran out of sugar, uh, that we would use syrup as a sweetener. So it was very important in the old days, because there's a lot of recipes that use syrup. Uh, so, but like I say, as far as we know, we're the only family that still does this. And it is certainly, as Harvey said, a family-oriented thing, because with 4 families and the kids and grandkids and great grandkids, we will probably have, I'm going to say, 75 people the day we make the syrup at the meal. And so it's a social event as well as anything else. It's very, very important. And we've tried to keep this tradition going primarily for that reason, because we don't eat a lot of syrup like we used to, but it's still a very enjoyable thing to do.
Syrup making is a time-consuming process also. We start about 6 o'clock in the morning, squeezing the cane stalks and getting the juice out. By about 10 or 11 o'clock, we've got 100 gallons of juice, and we put that in the boiler. It's called a batch boiler. No divisions inside the boiler, like some syrup is made. And we boil it for 4 hours. And in the meantime, we'll have lunch, and I always have a lot of food, good food. And along about 4 o'clock or 5, the syrup is ready to be taken off the fire and put in the jars. By the time you wash and clean up, it's 6 o'clock, so it's a 12-hour job.
A long day.
For all of the people that help out. And,
as you can tell by looking at us, Harvey and I have gotten a lot of age on us, so we are not physically able to do all that work anymore. And so is our first cousin Jim. We were the 3 that primarily headed up and sort of managed the syrup making process for years and years and years. And obviously we've gotten too old to do that. So fortunately, we have a new generation coming on. My son Brian and Jim's son Caden sort of headed up now. And so a lot of the cousins and the rest of the family sort of pitch in, as well as friends that they invite, help with the syrup making process. So we just get to sit and watch.
and talk.
And talk, yeah. And enjoy the day.
So I'm Jennifer. I'm Harvey's daughter. That's the most important part of who I am. I said today that I think we need to make name tags, and my name tag would say Harvey's daughter. Proud to be Harvey's daughter. So we're going to talk a little bit about, Daddy's done a lot of research over the years about variety of cane, the types of seed that we buy. He's done a lot of research over the years about where to buy from, and so he's going to talk a little bit about the types of cane we've used in the past, where he gets that, and the process of figuring out which variety works best in this region of North Carolina. So what's your favorite variety of cane?
Dale.
D-A-L-E.
D-A-L-E, that's the kind we grow now. But let me mention that sorghum probably originated in Africa or maybe the Middle East, but I think Africa. And they save the seed from year to year because it's an annual seed. It comes up and lives only one season. And its job is to produce a seed head on top of the stalk to continue the plant for the next year. And that seed is harvested and used in various animal feeds, and it's also can be used for human food, breads and soups and things. And it's gluten free.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the African slaves probably brought the technology of making sorghum syrup from when they brought their technology from Africa, and the means of growing and producing out sorghum stayed the same for hundreds of years through Africa and in early America. And it was introduced, and of course, a lot of people in the late 1800s began to grow sorghum. And one of the early varieties was called I'm pulling a blank. I'll think of it in a minute.
It's all right. Keep talking about it.
But that variety was easy to bend over in the wind
Uh-huh.
and lodging. And
Did you ever grow that variety here?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. And that was a variety we primarily grew, saved the seed from year to year.
Okay.
And
when you first started, you saved the seed?
Yeah.
From the seed heads?
Right. We don't save it anymore.
Okay.
Today we get our seed from Mississippi State University Foundation Seed Division. And we buy 5 pounds of seed, which we don't need but buy half a pound each year.
Okay.
So seed will last a long time. We keep it in the freezer.
We use that the next year?
We use Dale.
The freezer?
Yeah, we use it from the next year after it's out of the freezer. And the freezer doesn't hurt it, it keeps it.
Okay.
And we tried topper variety one year, but Uncle Marshall didn't like it at all.
Well,
so we stayed with Dale.
I guess so.
From then on.
Do the weather conditions affect the cane? Like if it's a dry year, a wet year?
Cane will grow in a dry year very well. Mm-hmm. Probably does better in a drier year than it does a wet year. Mm-hmm. And it does very well in drier weather. Which is unusual for a plant to do well in dry weather, but it does.
Tell me a little bit about, last night you were talking about the seed head and how important it is to leave the seed head on until it's ripe.
Well, the seed comes out of the stalk at the top of the stalk, and the seed is initially it's soft. Mm-hmm. You squeeze it with your fingernails and it looks like the milk stage. Mm-hmm. So we call it the milk stage, and then the next stage is it gets sort of like soft dough, mm-hmm. and then the hard dough, and then very hard. You can't pierce your fingernail through a hard mature seed. Mm-hmm. And when it gets mature, it's at the top of the chart on sugar content. And usually our sorghums have been around 14 or 15% sugar. which means if you boil 100 gallons of juice down, you'll get 14 or 15 gallons of syrup.
So the higher the sugar content, the more we produce.
Right. The more
molasses you
you're
get.
just driving off the water, and you keep the sugars in the syrup, and so you get about as much syrup as it starts out with in terms of the bricks. We use a refractometer to determine the sugar content. You take a refractometer and put 2 or 3 drops of juice from the cane stalk and on a plate and look through it, and it gives you a reading as to how the light reflects through the juice. So we use that as a way to determine when the syrup is when harvest the sorghum.
So the ideal time to cut the heads off the cane would be when it's the most ripe. Is that when it's hard?
Yeah, when it's hard.
Hard
When
like
the seed
that.
is hard.
That's when it's hard.
And you can cut the heads off up to 2 or 3 weeks before you harvest the cane.
So you cut the heads off, and then can you leave the cane planted at that point?
Yeah, you can leave it planted with the leaves on it.
Okay.
And you give it about 2 more weeks and strip the leaves off and cut the plant. And then you're ready to put it in the mill and get the juice out of it.
Anything else from the science perspective you want to tell us?
Sugar drip was the name I was trying to get.
Sugar drip.
Sugar
drip was one of the original varieties that we tried.
The kind we grew. Your Grandpa Rickman saved and Daddy saved the seed, and we would save it and put it in the barn down here over winter and take the seed and beat it against each other and get the little tiny seeds up. They're only about, they're not even 1/8 of an inch in diameter. They're about 1/16 of an inch in diameter, and there'll be 500 or 600 seeds on one seed head. So you don't have to pick up very many to get enough seed to sow the next year. Let me mention we're talking about sorghum cane. Some people call it sugar cane.
Yes.
And sugar cane is a tropical plant that grows in warm climates, and it's a perennial. It means it comes back every year. And the way you grow sweet cane, sugar cane, which I don't know really much about that, is you cut it in chunks with a node on each end and put it in the ground and lay it down horizontal and cover it with soil. And up from that comes these thick sprouts of sugar cane. And they cut that and boil it in the same way we do. But it produces a real corn syrup. It's a sorghum syrup.
Yeah, different from ours.
Cane syrup, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's different than sorghum syrup.
What would you, if you have great grandchildren someday, what would you like them to know about syrup making?
Well, it's a good crop for sorghum. Sorghum's a good food source. It's a sweetener, and it's in our day and time and before our day and time, it was a sweetener that they couldn't afford to buy sugar in the store, so they made sorghum cakes and cookies and sorghum on a biscuit with butter. A good treat.
It was a treat when you were a boy.
It was a treat,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So the variety comes from Mississippi State University, and it's Dale is the one we like.
What are we using this year?
Dale.
Okay. Is that all you'd like to say?
That's all she wrote.
Okay.
Will you grab that other strainer and we'll change it out while we're at it?
Get this one up.
Yeah.
So that means this hospital thing's down.
Well, we'll slide this one right underneath it here.
I think we need to wash that.
Yeah, we sure do.
Sorry.
I did not get that very tight. No. I get an F for the day.
using a clean sock?
That's why we're using a clean sock. Yours is next.
Oh, my sock.
Yeah. I hope they're clean more than normal.
They're not clean. Don't use my socks. This one's just stuck.
Yeah, it'll start filling up here in a minute.
Hey, my name is Catherine Fouts Booker. I'm the daughter of Milton Fouts and the granddaughter of Dora Fouts and the great-granddaughter of Roland Rickman. And that's whose property originally this is. And as long as I can remember, in the fall of the year, the thing we looked forward to in our childhood was syrup making. And at that time, we had a syrup mill. It's where it is now, but the shed was over by the creek. And the furnace was built with native rock and red clay. And people would come and neighbors would come and they would swap tales around the fire. And lots of times they would maybe put a potato in the coals of the fire or a ear of corn. And I think that was the origin of the tradition of food, syrup making. So over the years, and when we first started, when I first remember it, we had a horse or mule pulling a long pole round and around, and that's how they ground, how they run the mill. And they would strain the syrup into a barrel, and then they would carry it over to the boiler in buckets, and they would strain it there, and then they would, boil it down and make syrup. And many times it would go late in the evening because they would usually make 2 runs. Beside the creek there was a crabapple tree, and this was the time of year when we could get those little crab apples, and they were so good. But Grandpa Rickman, he's my great-grandfather. He loved for people to come. And so that tradition has continued over all these years of having a lot of people come, and the camaraderie and telling yarns around the syrup mill is just wonderful. It's one of my favorite memories. Now, prior to syrup making, I got to wash the jars. So, because my hand would fit down into the jars, and I got to wash the 100 jars, it seemed like, and we would boil the jars, and then we would bring them up to fill with syrup. And we always, of course, gave syrup away to friends and family. We were so blessed to grow up here on this property. I love syrup making because one of my favorite memories is the smell of the syrup as it's boiling and boiling down, and when it gets to the stage where it's called puppy tracking, when it boils and bubbles, and they always said it looked like puppy tracks. And so that was just the height of the day when we could see the puppy tracks. And so the syrup making was a wonderful tradition, family tradition, and I really don't know when it started, but I know that great-grandmother Rickman would take the syrup that was left in the boiler, instead of washing it out like we do today, they would leave a little bit of syrup, and she would have her apples ready, put them in the boiler, and that's how she would make her apple butter. Isn't that a wonderful memory? Of course, I did not know her because I was 3 months old when my mama and daddy brought me here, and they said that she held me. That would be my great-grandmother Rickman. She held me as a baby. That was I was born in July. And then we moved here after she passed away. We moved here in October. And so this is where I grew up. I have many, many wonderful memories here. And then one of the sweetest of my memories is syrup making. So I would say that my childhood, all of my childhood memories were sweetened with syrup. Thank you.
They were down back. This was a year or 2 ago. We told them the fence was on, and they were shocking. And we'd warn them. No, he said finally just let them figure it out. Well, they would stand there and try to touch it. And finally, Joel just grabbed the whole cup. Is that enough, Steve? All I know is set on there and see. Don't set it down. Let Brian side it in, okay? And then go down when he does it. All right, you eyeball him on that spout. That's the right kind of stuff.
I'm Bryant Phillips. Been coming for close to 20 years, I guess, helping the Fouts family. I've enjoyed every year of it. I did some of this when I was a young boy, but then I've enjoyed getting finding out new ways of doing things, and I just, like I say, I've enjoyed every year that I've come and helped with them, and the Fouts family seems like my family now. But anyway, it's hard work, but there are a lot of pleasure in doing an art like this. A lot of people don't know anything about it anymore, but I do enjoy the fellowship too. Goes along with it.
I'm Caden. I fit in the family. My grandfather was Marshall Fouts. He was a brother of Milton, and this is my daddy.
And my name's Jim Fouts, and Milton was my uncle, and Marshall Fouts was my daddy. And we've been making syrup as long as I'm big enough to walk to help make syrup. And now Caden, he's taking over my job. I'm not able to do it much anymore.
We grow the cane over at our farm. We start in the early spring, along about May, and plant it over there and get as much help as we can. It's funny, you can get about 50 or 60 people down here to make it, and you might get 5 or 6 out in the field to plant it and thin it and all that. So that's where all the problem is. But growing up, there were several things I looked forward to every year. My birthday, Christmas, and the syrup making. Spent just right here where we're at right now. They didn't used to put it on a trailer, and then Bill and Harvey decided they didn't want us to have any fun and have King of the Mountain anymore. So we used to play King of the Mountain, and a lot of memories of that. Thankfully, I don't remember anybody breaking an arm or anything like that somehow, but lots of memories of that. One of my favorite memories down here was my granddaddy always wanted me to be by the fire and be by the boiler at the end so I could see what it looked like when it came off. And I decided there towards the end I'd take a four-wheeler ride, and we rode all the way back up on the mountain, and I thought, well, I've got time to get back. And by the time I got back, they were putting it in jars, and he met me right out here on the road before I just barely got off the four-wheeler, and he'd asked me where I'd been, and I told him, and he said, good way to learn, isn't it, boy? And he turned around and walked off. And I wish then he'd have just beat me or anything else other than what he did. But
And I can remember back, I was probably maybe 15 years old, and we was going to make a run middle of the week, and Daddy told me to leave school at dinner time, and me and Lucille to come down and grind it. And him and Uncle Mark Milton would come on about 5 o'clock and put it on the boil. Well, we got it ground. I told Lucille, let's go ahead and put it in the boiler. So we put it in the boiler. I said, I might as well build a fire. And she said, you sure you know what you're doing? I said, well, yeah, I've done it all my life. Well, the next thing I know, I'd boiled it over and juice run down the side of the boiler and everything. I put the fire out and waited on Daddy. I know I was going to be in trouble. And he come up and he'd seen where it'd run down the side of the boiler and everything. Looked all around and he'd seen what had happened. He said, boy, if you don't get a fire going, we ain't never going to get out of here. That's all he ever said to me. He knew I was trying.
Yeah, I'm hoping to continue this on. Should have got Marshall over here to the next generation, but he's just like I was. Ellis and Peyton, they love coming to the Syrup Mill, and it's a big part of my life and want to keep it going as long as we can. And there's interest, but again, just getting it down here. When we get here, we got all kinds of help. It's just getting it here. But it's good. There's not too many families anymore that get together like ours and actually know each other. You know, family reunion things are something of the past, but I feel like having the syrup making, having an activity to do when we do come together has kept our family together in a unique way, especially in the day and age in which we live. And it means a lot. There's not too many families that I know of that can go 3 or 4 generations and still get together as big as we are and still know who people are. And it's been great to see how. I remember when I was young, you know, in my teens, I was hanging out with Luke and Sam and taking them on 4-wheeler rides, and now, you know, Anna and Mary Marshall, they're taking my kids on 4-wheeler rides. And so we joke there's an apprenticeship here. Everybody's got something to do. If you're younger, you're taking care of the younger ones, and then as you get older, you get to start doing some other stuff. But it's been awesome to see how just one generation steps up and filling in the holes that the next generation left. And you see that everywhere from the field, making it, you know, planting it, all that, the different faces that come and go. And you see the next generation stepping up and keeping it going.
Hey, Caitlin, is that paper running down the road down there? Yeah, he's following them boys. Oh.
Sunshine.
Last 5 or 6 years. No, it's been a while. We said that for a while. Before that, we grew it and we made it. Well, that's the way, whatever. It's nice to know. Yeah, but it's here, so. Yeah. And you can see how some of you are a whole lot lower than others. Don't have a low season effect. Now, will it be kind of greenish?
Well, my name is Cynthia, and my mother was Doris Fouts Lynch, a sister to Uncle Milton. And I've been coming to the syrup making ever since I was really, really young. I can remember riding over here in Uncle Marshall's truck in the back and having to cover up with quilts in order to stay warm. But as the years went along, got married, had my own kids. But before that, we would come over here and love to jump on this cane pile with the yellow jackets and all, but we didn't ever get stung for some reason. But this lately years, I have done the skimming, I have done the wiping the boiler, but my biggest part now is to get the food here. Catherine and I, that's our assignment. And
we've done a lot of stripping.
Yeah, we've done that, done stripping and cutting it down, hauling or loading up the trailers. Just had a little bit of part of all of it, I guess, over the years. And you take over, Steve. You talk. You're never without something to say.
Since we got married, which is
almost 50.
November 28, 1970. So it's been almost 54 years. anyhow, I've helped with the syrup making. Planting,
Weeding,
thinning,
thinning.
stripping, thinning, hopping, hauling, grinding. We used to crank this thing up. First time I helped out, I believe it was 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I got over that though. Yeah, it's just been a great family thing all these years.
Tell me what your name is.
Grace.
Have you had fun today? What's your favorite thing about today?
The creek and taking pictures. Sayla. My name is Sayla, and I have fun today because playing by the creek. My name is Liam, and I played soccer, and I had fun. My name is Carson, and what I love about the syrup making is spending time with my family and playing with the creek with my cousins and friends.
My name is Kason, and I like the syrup making and the food, and I like to be here because all my family and friends are here, and play with my cousins and play in the creek.
My name is Asher, and I like about the syrup making that I get to eat butter and biscuits with it. My name is Marshall. What I like about the syrup making is that I get to taste that after it's all done and get to help cut it. My name is Carson, and what I like about the syrup making is I can splash around with my cousins and play with them, and then I get to taste the syrup right after.
All right, I'm Olivia Rowland. I am Ryan's daughter, Cynthia's granddaughter, and Doris's great-granddaughter. And my favorite memory of the syrup making is jumping across the hay bales in the barn with all my cousins when I was younger, and then the stopping time. We get to stop it up with the cane. Also, I liked when we got to play King of the Hill on the stack of shavings back here. Yeah. All right.
My name's Ryan Rowland. I'm Steve and Cynthia's son, and this is my wife Amber. And my greatest memory of the syrup mill is getting stung by yellow jackets jumping on this pile of cane stalks. Go ahead.
I just enjoy coming every year. Olivia and my son Asher, and just kick and fall off. We love it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We're going to check and make sure.
Go down there and get it. It's an inherited trait.
Ryan, you checked on that copper skimmer?
Alright, it's really starting to slow down a bit.
Come on, slowly. Good?
No, this whole. So I need another.
Yeah, sure.
That's kind of when you know it's ready, is when the more steam. Well, I'm staying coming up where you still got water.
Uncle Harvey's wanting to talk about varieties.
Hey, don't you put water on me. All right, take your socks off. Oh, here, just stand
Christy and Reagan Mathis. I am Doris Fouts Lynch's granddaughter. My mother's Cynthia. I've been coming here all of my life. I was here when the syrup mill was across the creek on the other side. It used to be a lot colder every year. There were always yellow jackets on the cane pile. And my job here is to do whatever somebody tells me to, and usually bring some food. What's your job?
I just do whatever they tell me to.
He's fairly new. It's been a few years. 10, 11 years. It's been 11 years already.
Yeah. I come to eat.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, I guess, because I like to do fondue
So somebody else would be telling me when. Oh, all right, sure, yeah, I can do that.
My goodness, it's cooking fast. I'm so sorry.
Stick your head on there. They're going each ear.
So who do I ask? You say? Ask Lynn.
Hey, Lynn, how much longer you think?
15 minutes.
She's got on daddy's pants.
Hey, how many 15 minutes? Like one 15 minutes or
You need to come tell Vicky. She's got her camera out.
Increments of 15
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. How many times are we gonna say 15 minutes? That's the question.
Your daddy. Your job. Well, Judy's standing right there. You tell her, Judy.
Yeah, who what?
About Uncle Murray. I always say 15 more minutes.
Yeah, I said, how many times are we gonna say 15 minutes?
That was Daddy's only answer was 15 minutes.
The last 3 hours was 15 minutes.
I know. I remember that from when I was little. I was like, 15 minutes is already up.
This yet?
Let me tell you something you already know.
Just ignore us.
Get splinters on his tongue. That's painful.
Good job, Preston. We heard him.
Dana, did it fog up? Because mine sure did.
Keep it from raining so much. I'd be curious to see what the temperature is down there. Right over behind. 223.
Is that what your temperature is?
Yes.
You got 223.
What's it supposed to get to?
Up there. Look on the list.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
223, 221.
To get ready. I put them in. When you get rid of that off, you're going to have to put it back. No, not me.
I'll say hello, and we are Merritt Fouts's wife and daughters. There's another daughter. We don't want to leave her out, but she is currently skimming or maybe talking.
Right.
This is Lucille Fouts.
I'm grafted into the Fouts family.
And I'm Lynn Fouts Garrison.
And Sharon Fouts Taylor.
And I have on Daddy's overalls in
do you
honor
really?
of Merritt C. Fouts today, and
wow.
Daddy's Burning News hat.
Very
All of this
cool.
is in honor of him because he loved syrup making time.
He really did.
And
He liked to talk more than anything else, though.
he did. He was not an introvert. Well, Mama, you have been involved in syrup making many years, and with Uncle Marshall. And tell a little bit about what you did. You and Uncle Marshall used to do.
Well, I actually, before I go back to working with Marshall, I remember the cane field right over there at one year. And I remember it across the creek over there where the chicken houses used to be. I came, oh my goodness, it didn't look like, and worked by myself trying to unwind morning glories and stuff out of the cane. And anyway, I have, about for years, like I said, I am a stripper and a skimmer. So I could strip the cane, the leaves off the cane. I always did stripping, and then Marshall and I did a lot of skimming. Oh, I love to work with Marshall, and of course Milton was, he was always on the job somewhere, and Marshall was his job could wait on the cane. Yeah. So anyway, I've enjoyed it for years, but at this point, I just have to enjoy seeing all of the grandkids and the great grandkids and everything at the gatherings for syrup making. So.
One of your important jobs was pouring, though.
Oh, yes.
One of your important jobs was pouring.
Yeah. Well, and that wasn't such a, because I was raised on a farm, and we had milk cows. I was used to pouring something into a jar, so that came kind of handy when it came around pouring into, So.
Well, talk about what you and Marshall about the field work, because y'all did a lot of the weeding.
Well, we did. I mean,
how did you decide when you were going to do something?
I did not decide. That was not my job. Thank goodness. Like I say, I had I'll not say it again, but I didn't do it. It's important, but as far as
every part is important.
But the main saying when the syrup is ready or something like that, I know nothing about that. So.
But you have to get the cane to the mill before they can make the syrup, so that's pretty important.
Well, that is actually, yeah. So that's
So, Mom, when you and Daddy got married back in 1954, were they making syrup back then? And do you remember that? Do you remember the first time you came to the syrup mill with Daddy?
no, my memory is not as good as it used to be. No, I don't remember the first time.
I just love to hear. I wish to
Because
hear
I
that
worked,
story about why Daddy bringing her to the syrup mill for the first time.
No,
Introducing her to all the family.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the
Bill
family
knew
all
her.
knew
Bill
me
said
then.
he knew
But
they were
I
out
was
at grandmother's house. Yeah.
I was working, and he was in school and working too.
He was
So
going to college and working
yeah,
both at that
so
time, right?
it was probably years before we ever, participated,
Right.
that much.
Yeah. And then you had those little youngins.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Yeah. Oh. We'll say too, from our point of view, I used to look forward to syrup making just as much as I imagine some of these little guys did, because it was always so wonderful to get together with the cousins and to be outside and play on the puppy pile. I mean, it was like you were free and you could just run around and play. And I know that they were watching us, but you didn't feel like there was anybody watching you, And it was just such a just a great place to grow up. Yeah.
Well, I did enjoy, you know, with the syrup making, because Marshall and I, we each had a side. We stayed in, there wasn't 3 or 4 paddles in the tray at one time. We we didn't have as many helpers then, and we did a lot, by ours. With just a few. We had to always be sure there's going to be enough to pull off the boiler when the syrup got ready. But other than that, we didn't have as many people around. Of course, the families have multiplied. so it was more of a.
No.
20 minutes.
How about 2? How about 3 minutes? 3 minutes. How many minutes would that be? Oh.
They just said that it was fast, so I don't know.
We're Neil and Allison Booker. I am the son of Katie Fouts Booker, grandson of Milton and Mary Fouts. Our family grew up here, coming to syrup making every year. My memories go back to a wee child all the way till now. I remember as a kid playing King of the Mountain on the cane pile with all of my cousins. We grew up here with all of our aunts and uncles and our great aunts and uncles all coming together at this time of the year to make syrup. I remember when the cane mill was on the other side of the creek and the boiler was on the other side of the road, not the other side of the creek, and I remember when they moved it. I remember making syrup with my grandfather, and I remember it with Uncle Marshall. I remember one year there were just the 2 of us, and we made syrup. It was a second run, and we made syrup together on a weekday because the cane was going to go bad. So we did it together, me and Uncle Marshall. My kids have grown up here playing on the cane pile and playing with their cousins in the creek. What else you remember? Probably one of the first times I brought you up
It
here.
was the first time you brought me up here.
It was for a cane syrup.
Yeah, it was the night before Anna was born.
Mm-hmm.
And Uncle Harvey and Uncle Bill were down at the barn, the old barn. They were collecting rocks because I guess Uncle Harvey was nervous because Jennifer was in labor. And that was the first time I'd come over and met everyone. And the next day, Anna was born. The day we were making syrup, they announced that she was born. That was, what, 21, 22 years ago?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Frankie, can you carry this side over here?
Yes, sir. I'm usually on that end.
You'll never get it right over here.
What's your temperature?
Learning curve's too steep.
Oh, we got these.
What's that?
Oh, 226.
You better go.
Let Brian check it one time.
All right, check one time. We don't have to go. It's 626.
We've had it 235.
That's real good. It wouldn't come out of the jar.
Wouldn't come out of the door.
It'd pour out.
Put it in the microwave.
Can't see your knife.
Hang on, it's climbing. It says 225 now. It must be on the edge.
It takes about half a minute to go from one.
All right, 226.
Ooh, that looks nice.
Can't do that.
It sits on 25, and then it turns to 20. Yep, 26.
Everybody get ready.
All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Lift.
I did.
You almost missed the action shot, Mary. Sometimes fun. Yeah.
We need to go. Which way we need to go? We need to go forward till it starts.
We need to get our block under here. Right? Forward a little more. That's good.
6:15.
Is that where you want it?
Pedal woman.
I have the feeling, all right, she's gone, right?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, not reading that.
Mine is 2. Good? Okay.
You know, I've done this job, Harvey. It's just pushing it down, right?
You're doing fine.
Boy, it looks like it's has some grains in it, doesn't it? Like that. What's that? Is that where it sticks on the bottom?
Huh? Oh, okay.
That doesn't look like it does.
Pedal's got a little groove in it.
No, but I'm going to try. I can't remember. She's the mean one.
Can we?
I don't know how far back.
She draws the line pretty far back.
All right, you gotta wait for the line. There's the line, right there. Up here. It has to be above that line.
Watch out. She'll paddle you. She'll paddle you.
I will. I got
Well, my name is Tommy Fouts, and Milton and Mary was my parents. I was born in 1945, and I was raised right here on this property. And I remember the earliest I remember about the syrup making. Um, they they had a horse that turned the mill, went around and around, and then we moved to the tractor. But the furnace was on the other side of the road over there, and it was smaller. The boiler was smaller than what we have now, and we would try to do 3 runs a day. We'd start early in the morning, and it'd be well past dark by the time we got through. My grandmother told me that when making syrup over here, that they would peel apples during the day, and when the last run come off, they would leave enough syrup and in the boiler and throw their apples in, and then make their apple butter.
Well,
So this is really, really has provided food for several generations. It seems like now we don't eat as much syrup as we used to, but I know when I was growing up, we had biscuits and syrup on the table all the time, and so I never went hungry. But that's and then as a child and being up here, I remember we'd play on the plummies and usually get yellow jacket stung. But now we don't see yellow jackets, and that's the big change that I see is how the environment has changed, and we don't have the insects that we had. But that's and through the years, I've seen how we've modernized. Daddy and Uncle Marshall fixed the mill so we'd have it pull with the tractor. And there's always a lot of cooperation between my daddy and Uncle Marshall. I don't remember ever hearing of any kind of an argument amongst the family until I met Jack. We argue all the time.
I try to divide them up.
We don't argue as much as we'd like to think, but I see Jack at the Normandy restaurant quite often.
Yeah, we have a meeting every day down there,
and it's a lot of fun to go to the Normandy and meet up with folks. But I appreciate what my brothers have done, my sister, and my family have done to keep this going. No one individual could do it, but it's took the whole crowd. And but just to have this one day when we get together and make the syrup and remember that there's been several generations before us that carried this on. Well, that's what I have. So, Jack, what about you?
Well, you about covered it all. I'm originally from Acorn, North Carolina. I was born over there. Moved to Franklin. Went away to the Air Force. Worked over at Inca. Come back, run a feed store for 30 years. Retired from Caterpillar. Then the only entertainment and anything else that goes on down there to Normandy every day.
And what he didn't tell you is that he graduated in 1957, and the Statler brothers wrote a song about his class of 57.
And me and Bill graduated together. And they mentioned me in the song, but they didn't mention Bill.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, George.
Well, I'm George Taylor. I'm not a Fouts. I married Merritt Fouts' middle daughter, Sharon, 50 years ago. So I'm not sure exactly which one of these. I think we maybe missed a few, maybe in the early years, but we didn't miss many. And it's always been a big deal. My family was small. Both my parents were only children, so we didn't have aunts and uncles and cousins and a lot of little kids running around. And so when I married Sharon, I married into a big old family, and I think one thing about Sharon's mom and dad, Merritt and Lucille, she was the first daughter of the three to marry, and they just accepted me and took me right in just like I was one of theirs. And I don't know one member of the family of all this horde out here who has ever treated me any different than they did. So my part of syrup making, I just kind of consider myself in a warm body. I'm try not to make any decisions. Just let somebody else make the decisions, and I'm here. And but it's an impressive, I think, amount of love and family. It's it's an endeavor of organization without more of a disorganization than organization. A lot of hard work in it. What you see today, or what we are looking at today, is a culmination of months of hard work. We have to prepare a field. We have to plant the seed. We have to thin the cane. We have to weed the cane. Uh, you know, get the morning glories out of the cane. It's got to be stripped. Seeds have got to be topped. It's got to be cut, put on the trailers, and brought to the cane mill. And it's it's months of different things, and it seems that whenever there's a job to do and family scattered hither and yon, that it always seems to get done. People, those of us that are fortunate enough to live here, get together and try to get some of that kind of work done. And then, this is a big day. It's a whole lot of work, and we get people from all over the state and sometimes out of state that live away and can't be here all the time. And so we get to see them as well as making the cane. I mean, getting to see people who don't get it. It may be the only time of the year we get to see them, and it's more almost like a family reunion, and we just get to make syrup at the same time. So it's a sweet time. We miss the people who aren't here, those that have passed on, and we see some that are aging out and their health is bad and they can't do what they used to do, but they're here. And it's just you see the little children playing in the creek. I don't know what in the world we'd do without them. And they're not just the next generation, but maybe two generations down, because they're too young to do a whole lot. But we love them. We love everybody here, and I can't imagine having spent the last 50 years better.
Backs up the line. You better get up there and maybe she needs a paddle.
She's left-handed. That's a problem.
Hey, Mary, Brian, are you ready for this to come up the back? You can. We ain't getting any flow. I think I need to run a stick through it. Mary, run up there and get a piece of cane real small.
There's one over there. Oh, it's
Never
all over
mind.
there.
Just a little bit, yeah, a little bit. Just probably go ahead. Okay. Is that enough?
Yeah, I did.
Just so they know I
Bye, Marshall. Been good to see you. Bye, Peggy. Sorry, no, you're fine.
got to be a part of it.
Bye, Marshall.
All right, so I'm Melody Booker Taylor. My mom is Catherine, who is Paul and Granny Fouts' only daughter. She's in the middle. And so I have lots of memories of coming to the farm for syrup making, and we try to come every year. But I remember when I was a small child, we lived in Charleston. I remember coming in the dark. We would get here at night, and the boiler and all was across the road. And so we would come in the dark, and it would be warm and toasty, and people would all be sitting around the boiler and the fire. But that was some of my fondest memories when I was a little girl.
Yeah, because when we were little and when the boiler used to be across the road, I remember making syrup on Fridays and Saturdays, sometimes 2 runs each day.
Yeah.
I remember the old mill and the wooden barrels having to carry the juice across the road out of one barrel to another and straining it umpteen dozen times.
Yeah.
I always loved being able to play with my cousins when we were little in the creek or on the plumbing pile. I don't think these kids mentioned we used to pile it up on the ground.
On the ground.
And I mean, it was
just run.
twice as tall as that because it was years worth of cane, and we would play King of the Hill on top of that and fight the Yellow Jackets off of that.
Right.
So that was always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we've migrated up into really actually helping with it now. So I don't know.
So my job now, usually I like to do skimming. So that's what I like to get a paddle and do the skimming. That's what.
Yeah, that would be my favorite part too.
Because you get to be right close to it. You get to see it develop. You get to see how it changes.
Yes.
And how it's green and then brown and then makes the puppy dog tracks.
And I've tried so hard over the years to pay attention to, because Uncle Marshall, I guess you remember growing up, so it was Uncle Marshall, Milton, our granddad, and Merritt were the 3 main
that's right.
brothers that did the syrup making for the family. And I mean, it's tradition, as I think Dad said, they've done it for over 100 years, but for them growing up, it was a necessity. It was their sweetener for the whole year. So it was a really important part of farm life. Now it's a whole lot more family reunion, but it's still great fun. And yeah, it was just neat to see how we've progressed into different jobs. And
right. You talk about being a family reunion. I know that's one of the things that I love about coming here is when the family gets together. It doesn't matter how long it's been since you've seen somebody or not seen somebody, but you're welcomed and you're loved. And what I always love is how these guys make fun of each other and how they tease and they pick on each other, and they do it in a way that's fun and loving. And it's just, I don't know, it's so fun to watch them interact, and just they'll poke fun, but it's in a way that's they mean it because they love each other.
Yeah.
And so because we're not here all the time, we don't get to see most of this family. So for us, it's a good chance for us to catch up and see.
And you're right, you just pick back up where you left off, it seems like, no matter how long it's been.
Yeah.
as I've watched, after Paul died, and then Uncle Marshall passed and Uncle Merritt, I've tried to learn from the older generation how they've done it, because it really is an art form. I mean, I know Uncle Harvey checks the temperature every year,
Right.
but
Does it
it's
scientifically, but you have
it's
to see it too.
still. I mean, Uncle Marshall used to talk about it, and he was the one that decided when it was syrup, when it was ready. Even when we were in the old boiler across the road, he was the one that called it.
Yep.
And he would take that skimmer and get a little bit of syrup and do back and forth, and then watch it sheet off of there, and just try to watch, the interactions of the syrup in the air, the change in the bubbles, the color, and try to pick up on that over the years, but still don't feel like
you can do it.
anywhere close to there. But
you can do it.
It's a great family time, and it's kind of a shame that more families don't have these kind of things, to bring them
come
together.
Back to. Right. Right.
Boy, it looks like it's has some grains in it, doesn't it? Like that. What's that? Is that just where it sticks on the bottom?
Huh? Oh, okay.
That doesn't look like it usually does.
That looks good, a little root in it.
No, but I'm gonna try. I can't remember. She's the mean one.
Can we?
I don't know how far back she
She draws the line pretty far back.
right here. All right, you gotta wait for the line. There's the line. Up there. Up here. You need a bucket? It has to be above that line.
Watch out. She'll paddle you. She will paddle you.
I will. I got
I'm Judy, and I'm the youngest daughter of Merritt Fouts. I understand that my mother and my two sisters have already talked without me. So, as usual, I'm the youngest and get left out of everything. I'm here with Bill, and we're representing the oldest grandchild, being Bill, not me, and the youngest grandchild being me, of the
William and Dora Fouts
family.
There
we go. So,
Dora Rickman was one of 9 children of Roland Rickman, and born here on this place. And of course, Granddad and Grandmother Fouts had 9 children, and we're the product of 2 of those. Those 9 children, none of them were able to come back here and live. And my dad was the oldest grandchild of Roland Rickman. And so he talked him into coming here and live with him and take care of him when his wife passed away. And so we came here in 1943, and I can remember, of course, making syrup here all those years. And I was 25 years old when Judy was born, and there were 22 of us grandchildren to that family. And anyway, we're blessed to be a part of this family.
Well, it's pretty amazing too that to have a multi-generational tradition like this, where we come back year after year, and we all have memories from, I'm sure you've heard 1,000 times today, of the kids playing in the creek, and we all have had our turn playing in the creek.
Yeah.
And then throughout the years, and that's always been just a time for us to come together as family. And I've lived away for 31 years, tried to come back when I could, but wasn't always possible when I was living in Florida. So now I'm living closer, a couple hours away, so at least I can come. And it's always been a sense of family, and having raised my children in Florida, this was always a sense of family when, they could make it up here. So it's pretty unique, and
very strong sense of roots and tradition to be part of this family.
Thank you.
Normal growing season. Normal growing season.
Normal to dry. You think it's dry?
Well, we had a little dry spell, but that's normal. You know, and cane is tolerant
Susan, why didn't you say hurricane?
Oh yeah.
Hurricane Helene, that's what you need to put on there.